Hi, you all. Welcome back to C's podcast. I'm so excited that you guys are joining us. If you're new here, this platform is all about breaking generational cycles and talking about generational pain. Today, we have a very special guest, my brother, Mark. He is on here today to share his experience about generational trauma, how he's healing, the things that he's doing different. So I'm just going to introduce y'all to him right now. Hey, Mark.
What's up, sis? What's going on? Long, well overdue, you know what I'm saying? But kudos to you in progress being made and all that, you know what I'm saying? How y'all doing out there? Hi world. Hi world, you know what I'm saying? Hi world. How you doing? What's good?
What's
We
going
here.
on, bro? What's going on, bro? Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to meet with
Right.
me and really talk about this horrific issue. A lot of times us black folks, is we talking about family history and family trauma
Mhm.
more now than ever. So I thought
Right.
it was super imperative to have you on here to just share your story, share some of the challenges that you face as a child, and then like
Right.
what you're doing differently for your family, for your children. So I'm gonna hand it over to you.
All right. Well, as you know, I'm the one half of the host of the podcast called The Rant Mental Health Awareness.
Hmm.
That's produced by me and my brother, Mike Slade. And then we have another podcast called The Conversation where we interview entrepreneurs, mostly from our culture, but any entrepreneur in the community doing things, barbershop, real estate, you know what I'm saying, stocks, financial literacy, anything for the schools, anything for the youth. You know what I'm saying? We're doing all kind of entrepreneurship interviews so people can get the light. I'm an
Yeah,
artist,
I
I've
just
been making music. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yes, you all, the rant and the conversation, please. I'm gonna make sure that it is, on the screen. But yeah,
Mhm.
y'all talk about some heavy stuff, and you guys are, shining the light on those that are, making a way and entrepreneurs that are,
Right.
out here doing their thing. So yeah, shout out to the rant and the conversation.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been going for like 4 years, 5 years now. We just got a little deal agreement thing going on with my New York family. It's Air 24/7. It's called Air 24/7, and it's all podcasts on all platforms: Anchor, uh, TuneCore, Apple,
Mm,
um, Verizon, anything that you catch a podcast on, the show will be on there. You know what I'm saying? Starting this month. You know what I'm saying? So we're
nice.
working on that now. Shout out to my guy Nate, and my guy Exile over there at Frontline Records. We also are artists. I have a producer. He's like my little brother, but he's my producer. His name is Alexander Thomas. He's Human Torch. We're artists under United Masters. United Masters, which is a label that's online, where we upload
Mm,
our music and stream our music. We've been doing it since it started, since streaming started, and we've been making music for over 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like an elder state thing. And I always tell my younger artists, they say, how you stay relevant, OG? You got to find a way to take care of your foundation first. You know what I'm saying? If your household ain't moving, brother, you can't allow yourself to partake in anything else. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that. And when you do that and you have your foundation set, you don't have to be rich, but you have the foundation that's set there mentally, physically, financially in that area, you know what I'm saying,
mm.
allows you to propel in your entrepreneurship skills or whatever the case may be. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, if you want to get to the beginning, I was born in Orchard Park Projects in Boston, Massachusetts in the 80s. Okay,
Mm.
I like to coin this phrase, we was the original crack babies. I hate saying it like that, but we was them kids, man. Crack came out in about 85, 86. You know what I'm saying? I was born in 81. Um, the projects was terrible. I wasn't the only one. Every family in the projects, black families in the 80s. There was a few white families in there too now. You know what I'm saying? But predominantly black. We know how the projects was ran in East Coast communities. You know what I'm saying? From New
Hmm.
York to Philly to Chicago to Boston. We know how the project system is ran. We are part of that. We was taken away from our parents. Long story short, to make a story a little longer. We was taken away from our parents when I was about 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? I ended up drinking some bleach in the house while they was getting high in the other apartment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to get rushed to the hospital. Uh, Appendix blew up and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So I had
Oh
to get
my
rushed to the hospital. We were just kids, project kids doing project stuff. You know what I'm saying? We looked at it like it was normal. And that was the
God.
bad part about it, because it was like normal. Parents go get high, take all the kids, bring us to Columbia Point, which is not too far from Orchard Park, where the rest of my family was at. Leave like 18 kids in one room, let them eat and tear up the room, and everybody else going to get high in the other room. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just us. I don't want to put myself out there like I'm the only one that's happened to. Why me? No, it was everybody in the project. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
know my story. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right.
um, and then DSS came into play. You know what I'm saying? Similar to, you know what I'm saying, your situation,
Yeah,
fam.
mm-hmm.
And they split us up. There was 4 of us: my brother LaRon, my sister Ruthie, my brother Mike, and me. And we do have different fathers. The 4 of us have different fathers. My brother and sister have the same, and me and Mike have the same. But my dad was the one taking care of all of us. So
Okay.
at the time, after that bleach situation happened, my sister went to school and told it all. You know what I'm saying? People came in there and took everybody, brothers. They took everybody. They even took the cats out the house. You know what I'm saying? They
I'm
took
done.
everybody.
Not the
And
cats.
and it was DSS then. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and it was like a new form situation, so it was ugly. So they took us out of there, but some family members swooped in and was able to take me and Mike out.
Okay.
You know, and then my mother's people was able to take LaRon and Ruthie out, but they ended up back with my mother and father somehow. And me and Mike was just, you know what I'm saying, astray with family members and things of that nature. And we grew up like that. You know, I done lived in 7 states before I was 14. You know what I'm saying? Not Mike so much, because he came back to Boston. I went to South Carolina, North Carolina, Fort Lauderdale, New York, Alabama, Jersey. I was just everywhere. I was with my aunt, who was raising me, was my father's sister. She was gay. She ate vegetables, and we did martial arts. And she was a Rasta. So that
Oh,
was in the 80s. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So that was my thing. You know, me and Mike grew up a little different. He was in the nonsense. Man, I was doing boating activities and doing martial
Oh,
art tournaments. You know what I'm saying, eating good, man. You know what I'm saying,
yeah.
drinking soybean milk and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying. But as I got older, as a kid, you seek your parents. You want to
Mm-hmm.
at least find out what was happening. You know what I'm saying. But my grandmother, she was she when she took us in, she said she didn't want her kids to bring us to my mother and father. And my aunts and uncles was like, no, it's gonna hurt the kids. My grandmother Greek, partly Greek. She said, I don't care. They should come up the street and see their kids. If they don't, somebody bring these kids down the street. It's me and you. So no one brought us to our parents, and they didn't come up the block to see us neither. It's only like 20 minutes, Murray
Yeah.
Ave to Orchard Park. You know what I'm saying? And so we kind of grew up to a point where it was like animosity. I had animosity. Mike
Mm-hmm.
kind of grew out of it and then grew to love them because he was cultivated with them a little bit more than I was. I didn't accept it. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't accept it. I didn't understand it. You know, I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
why you let us go and didn't fight for us. So I was holding that against him, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. And it was like a grudge. And I can't lie. It was like, it was hard, man. You know what I'm saying? To see them gone now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was tough holding that grudge, man. And our sister Michelle used to tell me a long time ago. She always used to say, "You got to forgive." And you know what I'm saying? I used to say, I can't forgive. I can't forget." But you know what I'm saying? After a while, it come around where you forgive, but you just don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the story is you know what I'm saying? There's so much ins and outs and left outs and things of that nature, but you know what I'm saying? It just the specifics of just me being separated from my brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? Growing up by myself, it kind of just taught me how to be a loner, you know what I'm saying? So I love spending time with myself, you know what I'm saying? Um, and I think that's what got me into what I'm doing now. Like stock market and things of that nature, delving into financial literacy, generational wealth, trying to find ways to help benefit Bam in the future. My daughter Leah and my son Latrell, who's going to be 25 on December 7th. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
uh-oh.
Word.
Got you a how old?
And
27? My God,
no, he's
bro.
going to be 25 on the
Oh,
7th of
25
December.
on the 7th.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
happy early birthday to him.
Right. And him too, like he'll tell you that helped me come out the streets because when he moved to South Philly, my antennas was up. So now I'm like nervous because he in where it's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So from 15 to 25, he grew up in South Philly. My daughter as well, but my daughter, she was young when she got there. She's 15 now, but you know what I'm saying? For boys, it seems more terrible because they get caught up into the things, the streets and things of that nature. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a blessing to see him come out of there because he started off with Rocky Roads, but he came out of there. Now he's into entrepreneurship, got a vending machine business,
Oh, good for
still
him.
playing semi-pro football and things of that nature. Got 2 jobs and still with his girl for 5 years and things of that nature.
Good
You know
stuff.
what I'm saying? So his mom ended up getting a house in New Jersey. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So now that they out of Philly, it's able, and she's a great mother. You know what I'm saying? She's a great
Mm-hmm.
mother,
Mm-hmm.
and shout out to my wife Nanette, who they together there's no none of that. You normally in black communities there's friction between the mamas,
Right.
and we raising a group of people. My son helped with Bam, my daughter helped with Bam. That's little bro. Everything is on par over here, and I appreciate them two women. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
For for doing what they do, and Nanette, my wife, more so for being able to deal with coming from the streets and waiting for me to figure out how to get legal. A lot of people don't go through that journey with
Mm-hmm.
someone because that
Yeah.
person probably can't deal with it no more. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So, but
Wow. So you just shared a lot, bro.
that was like a quarter. That was a lot though. That was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You shared a lot. No, I appreciate that. You talked about being from the projects in Boston, and like how that impacted you being taken away from your family, and you talked
Right.
about some forgiveness.
Mm.
How did that play a role in your teenage years or your adult years prior to having kids, or even if you may have had kids young, right? You have a 25, soon to be
25
25-year-old.
on
Yeah,
December.
so
I
I
had him when I
mean,
was 19 when he was born.
so how did that impact, your being a teenager, becoming a man, not having your father? Like, where did you learn how to become a man? What's your story as you got, once you got a little bit older?
All right, you my sister, so and when we get into these family talk, we be oof. I'm
Hmm.
long winded. We'll go forever, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. This is your show. You know what I'm saying? Y'all watch
And
the rant on
that's
Monday. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
no,
right.
um, I I think it's cultivated from actions. I was raised by women, so that's why I'm so hard because I'm really soft. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
I heard Tupac say something similar to that. I was raised by women. My aunt, two aunts, three beautiful aunts, one that's still living today. The aunt that I call my mother, who passed away, Francesca Dolores Owens, my father's sister, and my father's sister that I just told you about, the Rasta, who was gay and did martial arts. We ate vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So these
yeah.
these women were very poignant in my life, And one thing my aunt used to say to me when I was younger, coming into teenage years, like, I, I don't want you to be gay. Okay. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I'm not forcing you to be gay. I'm not
Hmm.
saying it's not the thing to do, but
Right.
I'm your father's sister. You're gonna
Hmm.
do what you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. She's trying to teach the birds and bees as a woman, let alone gay Rasta. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Living in a Latino community. You know what I'm saying? So it's in Jamaica Plain in Boston. You know what I'm saying? So it was like these lessons I got from these women were pain from trauma that they got from men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like if my aunt, who I call my mom, wasn't with a man, it was because of the trauma. It wasn't because
Right.
they just went, you know what, this ain't working, like you go that way. No, it was trauma. Either she was getting beat down, you know what I'm saying, mentally, physically, or they was using drugs, one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Because of the man. And I learned that I didn't want to be like that. You know,
Right.
because my dad, he was like that. I learned morals from my dad because he got up and went to work. He was a veteran. He went to the VA hospital. He worked there for 30,000 years. But he used to get high and still wake up and go to work at 5 in the morning. So, but that was his escape.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. I didn't know that until I became a grown man, and we talked about it before he passed away. Like, I had to get the hell out of the bullshit. I didn't know how to tell my wife, this is where I got to go. You know what I'm saying? So my father went to Harvard, and my mother didn't left school when she was 13. So you,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like that was his escape. So I found out how to get an escape, but it didn't come from no men. You know what I'm saying? Me being
Yeah.
hard and all, it didn't come from no men. It came from just like, listening to pop, maybe a little bit of Malcolm X or things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? Reading a Bruce Lee book or something like that, you know what I'm saying? It never came from hands on other than my brothers. And they was just
Mm-hmm.
teaching me street shit and survival shit, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like my aunt, Fran who raised us, who was my mom, her son grew up in California. So when he came back in the 80s, everything was blue. You know what I'm saying? It was on the Crip thing. So naturally, I want to follow my big brother. So I want to
Yeah.
do everything he's doing. Now I'm being a knucklehead, running around doing this nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And trying to do something he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I'm running down the wrong road. But I never had a father figure to say that that wasn't it. And my
Right,
brother,
right.
he didn't say that wasn't it. He said, this is the way you're going to do it. If you're
It
going to
was
do it.
normalized. It was normalized. Like you didn't know anything other than that. So
Right,
they influenced your life, and
right.
who was there to say this is wrong. So at the end of the day, that's all you knew, that it was
That's
right.
it.
It was right because that's all you knew, right?
And Mike, bro, that's close to me, that grew up with me, he went to prison when he was 14. And he went attempted murder. He tried to kill the other brother.
Mm,
He tried to take out LaRon, you know what I'm saying? So he ended up going to jail for that. So he
wow.
mentally had to deal with that at 14. He didn't come home until there was touch phone. There was flip phones in his
What?
room. He came home, there was touch screens. He didn't know what was good.
My
But it was
God.
just like that. I also learned there was a couple albums he gave me when he went in. He gave me Aaliyah's album, One in a Million. He gave me Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z's album 96, because just in case I was in the street. He gave me Tupac's Me Against the World. There was a 3 4 5 6 Coogee rap album, and then there was goddamn Lauryn Hill. And the Lauryn Hill was because of the women I was raised by. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
these albums helped cultivate who I was because of him. Knowing
Wow.
I wanted to be like him, but certain these albums, he was nothing like. He wasn't like the Me Against the World guy. He wasn't like the Lauryn Hill centric, you know what I'm saying, woman. He wasn't like that. He was violent. Like he grew up in the violent area, so it was mob deep, shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
it just it helped me knowing that he was 14 years old going to prison. And the first conversation I got from him, he asked me about Kobe Bryant. And I said, bro, you in jail? You all right? Everything. He's like, no, look out for this kid, Kobe Bryant. You got to stay in school. You got to play ball. You got to be like him. This kid about to come out of high school, going straight to the NBA. Whoop, wop, 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 wop. I'm amazed on the phone, this man in prison talking about Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just having fun up
Yeah.
in this motherfucker? Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
like he wanted to protect you. He wanted to make
always,
sure that you didn't, go down the same path that he did.
always.
And
Right.
you did have older male influences,
Mm.
even if it was, seeing them do the opposite, right?
Yeah,
Even if it was seeing them doing things that weren't, good, that were negative, right? But they taught you, hey, look where I'm at, don't do that. They
right,
still
right.
made sure you, as much as they could, right? But it really wasn't their responsibility because they were children as well, but they still stepped in as someone who influenced you. And music, it sounds
100%.
like music was a big part of, your growing up, and how you turned out. And I
Yeah,
feel like us as black people, we tend to lean towards music because we can connect with it. We
right,
can connect
right.
to those lyrics. And when we trying to survive, I mean, what else do we really have?
No, 100%. And I think for me, being a loner as a kid that had siblings, like I told you from the beginning, we was getting took into Columbia Point with the rest of the family. Shout out to my Crump family, and we like 18 kids. So there was all of us together at one time. And then as we grew up, we get separated. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And here I go being raised by a woman, well, woman, a beautiful woman at that, gay woman, martial artist, Latino roster, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna be a man. She never held the music from me. You know, that's when I found Tupac. And Tupac was me against the world Tupac at that time. Uplifting Tupac. Brenda's Got a Baby Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Me Against the World. Those type of songs that was catching me because I was in that position. Like, how am I gonna get out of here with no mother, no father, no support? My brother over here, this one. So mentally, that music used to help in the 90s. And I think it did a lot for a lot of us in the 90s. You
Yeah.
know, don't know about what's going on now with these young brothers and sisters, but in the 90s, it did a lot for us.
Yeah, yeah, no, for real. I mean, I can identify with that. If it wasn't for music, I remember listening to my Mob Deep too.
Oh,
Wasn't in the streets, but I mean, I love me some Mob Deep, some Nas, yeah,
no, no,
DMX.
no. Not to cut you off. When people say they wasn't in the streets, I understand where you're coming from,
No, no, no.
but
But
you from the streets. You
I
from the streets.
listen, the streets raised me. My mother is from the
100%.
streets. Okay. My mother was a
100%.
gangbanger, prostitute, drug addict, and she raised me. So of
Right.
course I'm street, right? Because that's
Mhm.
who raised me, right?
Right. Right.
If we want to get technical, excuse my language, my mother was a hoe. A hoe raised me. My mother was a
Right.
gangbang,
Right.
a drug dealer raised me, right?
Right. Right.
So I wasn't in the streets at the time that I was listening to it, but it influenced me. And although I wasn't raised in the streets, but I was
Right.
in my house was the
You could
streets.
understand. Yeah.
But when I left, I became in the streets. I got jumped into gangs and I tried to sell drugs, right? So there was a part of my life where I can identify and I was, doing some stuff. I was using
Right. Right.
drugs, not just
Right.
weed. I was addicted to
Right.
pills and all types of stuff, but this ain't
Mhm.
about me. But I just so you know, this podcast is not for the perfect. And I always say that. This
Mhm.
pod Sorry, move forward, bro. Sorry, my fault. This podcast is for those that can identify, those that want understanding, that, maybe their situation didn't look like yours or myself, right? Because we all have our own story. I can't tell your story. Just because I was in the streets doesn't mean that I can tell your story. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's
Right.
really
Right. Right.
important that I have people on here that talk about generational pain and the impact that it has on your life, on the impact it had on my life, right?
Mhm.
It can look different. So you talk about your brother influencing you, you having children, and yeah, how did what happened to you influence you as a parent?
I
Like, and I know each child's different, right? Your first child, and then you
yeah,
have your youngest. So I'm sure they're all different. And then if you have Aaliyah, who's a girl. So
man, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question because I don't want to give you an answer that was learned by mistakes. You know
but
what I'm
that's
saying?
real. But this is real. And I always say, I know for me, no child has the same experience
Right.
with their parent, right? So
Mm,
Kyrell, my oldest, had a different mother through each age range, right?
mm.
Then June
Yeah,
is
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah,
have.
yeah.
Then
That's dope.
June's gonna
Dope.
have. So at June 7 years, 8 years old, Kyrell at 8 had a different mother. I was not available, and that's me, right?
Mm.
I got to be honest, and they know because me and Kyrell sat down. And if you don't know, you're gonna
Now,
learn.
now you know.
I was neglectful at times with my oldest when he was younger.
Right.
And me and him had to repair our relationship, and we still are. Versus
Mm,
June, who gets a more affectionate mother. I didn't know how
mm,
to um love my child, my oldest, because I wasn't shown that as a kid. I was only shown
mm.
molestation and physical abuse.
Right, right,
So
right.
I was afraid to get too close to my oldest because I never wanted him to think that I would ever molest him. That was always
Mhm.
my fear. Like, I don't want him to ever think I was scared to change his diaper. I was, you know what I mean? Like, there was certain things I dealt with. But then I had therapy and I was taught, like, well, they're
Right.
innocent. all they know is that mommy is changing them. So I was like, oh, okay, I can actually change my son's diaper, and he's not gonna think that I'm molesting him. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, but this is how it was for me. So, that's a lot. Sorry, but go ahead, bro.
No, no, it's real, and we do this because this is the way we be talking normally. You know what I'm saying? We just
Mm-hmm.
on the show, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll sneak something in from the man's circle. You know what I'm saying? Me and Damien, as you know, our
Mm-hmm.
brother,
Mm-hmm.
um, his son Giovanni is in Jamaica,
Yeah.
right? And anytime that I feel like my kids is in New Jersey, anytime I feel a little down, he just remind me to go get in the car and drive 5 hours down the block or
Yeah.
get on the bus, brother. You know what I'm saying? You look, you ain't dealing. Okay, cool. He don't even have to say it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I
Mm-hmm.
say that to say this. Um, it was hard because having Bam, it's personally for me. It has nothing to do with anybody. I had to call the trail more. I had
Your
to
oldest. Your oldest.
stay in tap more because not that I wasn't there. It's just the fact that just that thought of the way I grew up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want people to think I have a slight towards my brother and sister because we grew up in separate areas or something like that. Or we have different half parents or whatever the case may be. And so I contact my son a lot more because of Bam. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily because it's my son.
Yeah.
It's just a part of me that feels like I need to contact him. And without having to bring on what I went through and me and Mike have endured as children with our parents, then I become numb to that because I just know that they're not going to go through that. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So I don't, like, I wasn't raised by my parents, but I didn't need them to know that these kids need to take a bath. They need to have manners and morals. They need to be able to fucking get a job and stand on your own too and handle your business. I never needed my parents to tell me that shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it came in other ways from other aunts and uncles and family members and things of that nature, TV and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like I said, that's one of them questions that's hard to answer because
Yeah.
I don't know nothing else but the pain. You know what I'm saying
Right.
from back
Right.
then. So
Mm-hmm.
if I say I'm doing this because of that, a lot of it's because of the pain. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like,
No,
you
I
know,
understand that. Like, you don't want your oldest to feel like now that you had your youngest and you're still with your youngest, mother, your wife, right?
right, right, right.
You don't want them to feel like left out or like,
Yeah,
okay, he's not showing up for us the way that he's showing up for Bam,
right.
right? You don't want them to think that. So your way or feel that rather than think, right?
And
Feel
that
that.
and that and they we've expressed it many a times, and it's not even close. It's just how I feel.
Right.
You
Right.
know, since we got the apartment when we moved in our location, 3 bedroom. It was
Right.
only us two, me and her. There was no bam.
Right.
Three
Right.
bedroom
Right.
because he's coming, and I
Mm-hmm.
gotta show my homies that y'all there's a spot for you.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that was personal. You know what I'm saying? It was like I have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Even though financially maybe that wasn't the best decision,
No, 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 no. Right.
but we
Yeah.
did it anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what I was gonna say to you is I know, okay, so with your children, right? Because it's important to have this discussion. We talk about
Right.
kids, maybe you said that you had three beautiful aunts, right, that took care of you and supported you. One was your mother, right? Your aunt who was your mother that you
Right.
say this is my mom,
Yeah.
right? Um, how does that
Hmm.
impact?
I'm missing somebody, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. How does that impact the love? Like, how did you learn how to love your children or yourself? Maybe yourself first and then your
Mm.
children. Like, did you love yourself at a young age? Did it take time? Like, what did that look like for you? And then how did you learn to love your children, especially when your
Right.
parents weren't
Right.
there, right? Because I think, when you have that when you don't have your biological family, there's always not family, your biological parents, mother and father. When you're young, there's always some sort of void, right?
Mhm.
How do you get through that and show
Right.
love to
Right.
yourself and to your family, your kids, your wife? Like, yeah.
So that one of them women who was my father's sisters, all of them was my father's sisters. But
Mm-hmm.
one of them who's still here today, Auntie Virginia, Auntie Peaches is still here too, but she's in South America somewhere. Um, Auntie Virginia, she has 8 kids and one boy. So the rest of them are girls.
Wow.
So me and Mike growing up in her household with my Uncle Stephen and her, we was learning values on how they was raising their kids and how they was treating their one boy and all the girls. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So we would see that when we would come over. She would come keep us for a couple seasons, like not just a weekend or two, like a season. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that they didn't want to split me and Mike apart. You know what I'm saying? So my aunt kept us. She didn't want her to go back to California because that's where she was from. So she wanted to go back to California, Francesca. But my father was arguing with her about taking us back. She's like, "You ain't helping with these little motherfuckers." Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? Like, but and then my aunt, she goes back and forth to South America every season. She hasn't seen a winter in America since she was 18 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she's back and forth to South America. I was supposed to be with her. They don't want me to
Mm-hmm.
go to South America. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but at the same time, I think the women and mainly Auntie Virginia with her compassion for her children and the way Uncle Stephen raised them. And when we got into some shit, he would light us up, but he would light me and Mike up a little different. You know what I'm saying? It would come with a conversation. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It would come with a reason for it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? An explanation for it and
Right.
why he held us to a higher standard than his kids that had a roof over their heads. All of them went to college. Hell, one of them works for NASA right now. So they're doing pretty good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's because of the foundation.
Mm.
And them two, Uncle Steve and Auntie Virginia, who just celebrated 50 years of marriage, um, used to have debates about keeping us because if they could have kept us, we probably would have been in a better position. You know what I'm saying? They knew
Mm-hmm.
they had the tools financially, mentally to take care of us, but at the same time, they couldn't pull us from who was taking care of us at the time, which was my other aunt. And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
if you do that, you take one and I take one, then they're separated. We already separated them from their brother and sister. So all of that triangle allows me to keep my kids in an area to love them unconditionally. And it's because of pain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My sister has 9 kids and she doesn't have any of them. She's been fighting for the last 3 for the last, the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? But she has 9 and has none of them. Due to
Yeah.
DSF, DCF, problems, this and that. Everything under the board that you could possibly do as a woman with 9 kids. That also.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my sister. You know what I'm saying? I used to have this
Mm-hmm.
little running joke and say, I love you, but I don't like you.
Mm-hmm. But that's real.
You know what I'm saying?
We
But
could love people and not like some of their actions. I mean, that's what it is. Still love them though.
we're not around friends that if you're not taking care of your child and I know about it, I'm probably not your friend.
Right.
I probably
Yes.
don't associate with you.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So, like you said, to end answer the question is learning how to cultivate these kids, and then being able to step in. Like my brother go to jail, and I got to go take his kids to school and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like because he does that. So I don't
Yeah.
want to rock their boat by not having the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but we know what we've been through, so we wouldn't put them through that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah. It's like
it's
trying to break that cycle, trying your
yeah,
hardest to break that cycle, even though that's all you know. And it's like fighting against it, especially when you don't get the necessary resources and foundation from
right,
the start. So it's trying
yeah.
to figure out what is the foundation, how do I go about it, not knowing, teaching, learning from people that you come into contact with, right? Whoever it is, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's,
Right.
classmates, teachers, whoever you can kind of pick up different pieces from. And
Right.
and I think even being younger and kind of seeing some of the corny folks, like what they talking about, like what they just do their homework. For me, I'm talking about myself. They just do their homework. Oh, that's I'm getting made fun of, right? I'm getting made fun of. So now I'm trying to feel like I gotta fit in. So in order for me to fit in, what does
That.
that look like? So yeah, I think those that have been harmed or those that started off with not having the necessary resources, it
Mm,
takes time to really understand what's right and what's not right
100%.
for you, for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's an idea I had about a book, writing a book, right? But
Hmm.
like it's like a family tree idea where
Hmm.
there's parts of the story that I can't tell because it's my brother's story. So in
Right.
order to understand that part of the story, you had to get his part of the book. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Oh, that's
So
dope. Yeah,
if
yeah.
I started the family tree book and every story came from me, then you're gonna say, okay, well, let me go back to his sister's story. I got to go get her book. Then I got to go
Right.
get the older brother's book. Then I got to go get this brother's book. Then I got
Yeah.
to go get the brother from California book. And then you
To
make a tree out
understand the
of it.
full picture because everybody has their own story.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
wait a minute, we was in the same room at the same time, we heard the same thing, but we both
right.
got something different from it. We both responded differently to it.
100%.
So, yeah, no, that's a dope idea. I encourage you to do
100%. I
that.
want to hear what they was thinking, in certain areas of life. I was
Mhm.
down south, man. I felt like I was with all in-laws.
Mm.
Me, um, my mother, Fran, my father's sister.
Mhm.
Me, Mike was there for a little bit. What actually happened was that they used to beat us with paddles in the South, in South Carolina. They tried to beat Mike with the paddle. He wasn't having it. So he started throwing jabs at teachers and all kinds of nonsense. And my mother would send him back up north. You
He's
got to
like,
get
he,
on the
he
bus.
got to go back to
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
where they
yeah,
don't be putting their hands on the
yeah,
kids, right?
yeah.
Or the paddles.
On the
Right.
body, you know what I'm saying? And it turned so violent. The South was a violent area, you know what I'm saying? So it sent, he left early. I left with the other aunt from North
Hmm.
Carolina, and we went to Alabama.
Yeah.
So I got taken out of there before the violence started. You know what I'm saying? Well, the
Hmm.
violence was there, but it wasn't as bad when when I was there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then when I left, that's when the violence started picking up. But my aunt knew it, so she came and said, "You know what? I'm gonna come grab you from my sister. You take care of that one. I'm gonna take this one off your hands." You know what I'm saying? Because we need to focus on that one. He's the crazy one. Focus on him. I'll take it.
I
You know.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the cool. I was like, "Yo, where's it at? What's going on? Woo, woo, woo." You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. Wow, man. I appreciate you sharing everything that you shared with us. It's so important. I hope
yeah,
that whoever's listening, that they can take something from your story and, find some hope in their life.
right, right, right.
Yeah, it's rough out here, but at the same time, we older now. And how are you taking care of yourself now? Like, what are some things? Let us know. What are some self-care techniques that you're using to stay sane?
Well, right now I do a lot of breathing exercises. You know, I work overnight, so I got to do breathing exercises. I have a mantra that every day. I'm blessed, breathing, able, and willing. That's my thing. I wake up in the morning, when I go to sleep, before I talk to the Most High, you know what I'm saying? That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? And just being able to be with my fiance, man. Like, I think going through what we went through and her sticking it out brings the fire higher. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
we got to finish this out. Now we got to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Cause
Mhm.
I always said we was on the road where it was like, I can't wait to get to this level so we can start living life. When you
Yeah.
get with somebody, you got to go through the corruption and things, your life, my life, all this, and then you got to find out this person's got, you know what I'm saying? So I think uh, us having conversations, man, you know what I'm saying? Us having them conversations helps get through a lot of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, what's going on, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much that's pretty much it. And the conversations with her, I do a lot of podcasts, a lot of financial work and studies keeps me from anxiety. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? I used to have anxiety because I used to think I had to get it. You know what I'm saying? From the streets. So we was outside. We wasn't playing with no bullshit. We was getting to the money. So
mm-hmm,
everything was, I gotta get it, I gotta get it. So now being legal, having a fiance, nice place, you know what I'm saying, living life,
mm-hmm.
enjoying what keeps me in that angle is now I'm focusing energy on the market because I know it's gonna bring generational wealth for the babies.
Yeah.
That's the mission. So, okay, cool. Let me get to this. Let me get all the information I can get. You know what I'm saying? Dive into the stock market, go get some ETFs, man, go live off some dividends real quick, learn the game. So when I get older, these kids is walking into some money when they get to 19,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
20
mm-hmm.
years old. You know what I'm saying? And they'll
Yeah.
benefit from that and be able to take the blueprint of everything I've written down, all the portfolio, and they'll be able to go ahead and move from there and they'll be able to step into life. Whatever's going to be the new money when they come to prime.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
For real. Yeah, no, that's so dope. So breathing exercises, taking a moment for yourself,
Yeah,
having somebody in your life that loves you, right? Having that
right.
partner,
Yeah, 100%.
and being able to like she's seeing you from when you weren't making the best decisions based off of what you learned, right? And what you only knew to sticking it out with you. And now you're in a place where you're doing things legally, working, taking care of your
Right.
family, focused on financial literacy and growth with your growth for your children, right?
Mhm.
Helps you stay focused and
Yeah.
yeah, keep going.
And the part, the mental
And
health part, me,
yes.
bro, just giving
Yep.
back to the community. You know, we go to
Hmm.
schooling events, we go to PAC meetings in Brockton and things of that nature. We go to
Hmm.
giveaways and give backs to the kids and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it really means a lot to just do something without looking for gratification. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Just,
right.
we talking about mental health, and we not I'm not a professional. You know, actually, I am
Right.
studying for to be a life coach, but
Nice. Good stuff.
outside of that, I'm just a black man going through struggles, dealing with mental health, trying to tell the people how I sustain. I may smoke some weed, that may be my thing.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? I may do a lot of podding, like we said. We talk about Mel Robinson, Jay Shetty,
Hmm.
Eric
Yeah.
Thomas, things of that nature. All my
Yeah.
financial guys, Earn Your Leisure, Troy Rashad, Master Investor Ian, Wall Street Trap. These are the guys and the people that help me carry myself and my sanity. Charlemagne helping me with this healing journey with mental health, introducing me to these type of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, and once you start learning that stuff and you start
Yeah.
looking at what's really going on with the demographics and the economy, there's really no time to play.
Right.
We
It's true.
really ain't got no time to be arguing and debating about Puff or
Oh,
Remy Martin or the rest
stuff
of
that
them.
don't matter, right? Stuff that don't like. Okay, everybody's going through something, man. But for some people, that's their escape, right? Like to get out
Right.
of their own reality, they got to look at somebody else's stuff. So no, for real, bro. Like I appreciate you. It sounds like you're doing really great stuff. Like I know you're doing good stuff, right? Because we
Right.
peoples, and
We trying.
I thank God for you. I thank God for your wife. I thank God for, y'all taking me in and loving me, right, as a sister, because as for the audience, as I don't have my biological family. So y'all come
Right.
as close as it's gonna get, right? They say blood is thicker than water, but I say that it don't get no thicker than this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate you being on the show. I'm gonna make sure that everything is in the description so people know how they can contact you. And
Let's
again,
get it.
shout out to you, shout out to your wife. You all, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and I will make sure that all his information is below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. You all, yeah. Until next time, C's podcast. Oh, look at that. Yep. Come. Oh, yep. Look at that. He got Echoes in the Minds, Beliefs of Lenora Whaley and Carol Morrell. That's my mama's book. And he supports, and yeah, he went and caught that.
Yo, shout out to my girl, man. Roxbury Film Festival. She's doing big things, man. Y'all tap in with Sherelle. Clinch Fit. I forgot to tell
Right.
y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm representing for her right now as
Yep.
we talk. Clinch Fit,
That's my
baby. Let's
brand,
get.
y'all. That's my brand. He got my brand on. I didn't even
I
man, we
got
just
her
chopping it
brand
up.
on. I got my brand on. Regime Boys. Shout out
Regime
Damian Friend.
boys. Yep.
Shout out Aiden. Shout out Mike. Shout out Josh. Shout out everybody supporting. Shout out Jeremy. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's love.
yes, yes, yes. Bro, I appreciate you.